Okay, and we're live. Hello, everybody. It's me, Rachel. How's everybody doing? I have a cold. I'll probably bring that up a time or two. I apologize in advance for my voice. Throw me a comment. Let me know where you're coming in from. We have some students from Rachel's English Academy who have joined in the Zoom classroom. And of course, we're live streaming this on Facebook and also YouTube to introduce the wider community to the opportunity of studying with us in Rachel's English Academy. We're having our May sale right now. If you join during the webinar, you get an extra 10% off, which is very exciting. The code is up there going across the top. So today I'm going to work with a student named Ricardo. I'll bring him in a moment. But if anyone has any questions as I work with Ricardo about what is the academy like, what is the best way to use the materials, what can you expect from the training that you get in the academy, just throw your questions in the chat. If I don't notice them as I'm working with Ricardo, don't worry, because my team is capturing them and they're going to put them in a spreadsheet for me. So I'll be taking a look at those as I go. But for now, no one has told me where they're from. So if you're watching this on the chat, on the live stream, I can see it. Tell me hello. Okay, I'm going to go grab Ricardo. Okay, Ricardo, I'm going to unmute you. Let me do that first. Ask to unmute. Okay. Ricardo, can I hear you? Let's test it.
Hello, Rachel.
Yes, I can hear you. Can everyone out there hear Ricardo? Yes, we're having people coming in. Good evening through the comments on Facebook and YouTube. All right, we can hear you and we're good. So Ricardo, you signed up for the Academy in September. How long have you been living in the United States?
I've been here now for about 20 years.
20 years. So after 20 years, what made you say, okay, it's time to do something new for my accent?
I just want to get better every day, every time, and there's still things that I need to work on, and my confidence is one of them. I want to sound more natural when speaking, and my goal is to sound like a native English speaker. So that's why I decided to join the Academy.
So over the course of the past 20 years, and maybe before that, what did you do to work on your accent specifically? Maybe you did nothing and this is the first time you're doing specific accent work.
Yeah, I think it's been maybe a year. So I finished my master's degree last year, and then I thought to myself, what's going to be next? You know, like what do I want to work on? So I thought to myself, well, maybe that's time now that I just want to focus on my accent, so I can, get better job opportunities and improve myself. So that's why I decided to do this.
How did you find Rachel's English?
I was searching online for ways to improve my English, and I came across one of your YouTube videos.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad to know YouTube is working for me. Ricardo, you sound excellent. I went back and listened to like your intro post. I wrote down a couple things, but I know that you've also been posting a lot since then. I do think that some of your sounds have improved since that original post that you did in September. So that's amazing. You guys, Ricardo uses the Academy community a lot. I saw that you've posted like 40 times. So that's great. He's really taking advantage of getting that teacher feedback, which I love. There is one thing that I noticed in your intro video, which you may have actually changed since then. But I noticed when you introduced yourself, you said, the department that you work in. I'm going to type it here in chat so everyone in the Rachel's English Academy classroom can see it. Can you see what I typed, Ricardo?
Yes, I can.
How do you say that?
Human resources.
Okay, so that's kind of what I heard. When you were doing your introduction video, you said human resources, and you really stressed the SOAR. But we don't want to stress the SOAR. You also stressed it a little bit there. We want to say human resources. So it's the first syllable that we want to have stress there. Can I hear you say it with that first syllable stress?
Human resources.
No, that was resources. I want I need to not imitate you. Resources. Resources.
Resources.
Exactly. Let's just play it, say it that. Resources.
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 Yeah, now we're going to do the last two syllables. Sources.
Sources.
Right, exactly. That was really good. You had minimal mouth movement. It was nice and quiet. Resources.
Resources.
Yes, human resources.
Human resources.
Exactly. So it's got first syllable stress. Another thing I noticed in one of your videos, you said, it was probably your first one. You said, I need my glasses to type. This is ridiculous. You said this word, decided, but you said decided. And that the stress is right, decided, but the vowel in that first syllable, I want d.
Decided.
Exactly. So I think as I was listening to you, I think there's just teeny tiny little things like that where we switch from decided to decided. And it's just that little tweak that goes from sounding a little bit like an accent to sounding totally natural. Can I hear you introduce yourself? I'm just going to type what I want you to say.
I'm Ricardo.
Yeah. So one time when I heard you, some of your syllables felt too long, but that was great. I'm Ricardo. Very quick, unstressed syllables, and that's exactly what we want. So that sounds perfect. So actually, a couple of the things that I wanted to work with you on must have been from earlier videos that you've already corrected, which is awesome. There is one other thing that I noticed in a couple different videos, and that was in the phrase, this is. It's super common for that to come across as disses with a D instead of that TH sound. I noticed that a couple of times. I have one friend from the Netherlands, has no accent whatsoever except for this. This TH becoming D is the only time I hear anything that doesn't sound natural. And I know it's so hard. Now, do you know the little trick for this TH?
I do not.
Okay, so we have a bunch of unstressed words that begin with this TH. This TH is voiced. It's different than which is unvoiced. So we have a bunch of unstressed words that begin with this, like this, these, those, the. So the trick with this TH is it doesn't need to come all the way through the teeth. What it can do is just touch back here. Do you see the tongue?
Yes, I can. Yep.
So it's not here. Duh. It's not up and releasing, but it's just here. Duh. Yeah. And that sounds different than duh. So we can make it really fast, and I can see how it would sound like a D. Maybe to you. To us, we hear it still as a TH. But let me hear you say, and let's just say we're doing the word the. We're going to do it over and over. The. That's pretty good. Let's put it in a phrase. The best.
The best.
Yeah. Now I'm going to change it to, it's going to be more like the, because it's followed by a vowel. But I still want the very quick TH, the only.
The only.
Yes. Now let's do.
This is.
Yes. I hear no D there. That sounds perfect. Let's put that into a couple actual sentences.
This is fun.
Yeah, let me hear that one again.
This is fun.
Yes, perfect. Okay, now this one's going to have two of those unstressed voiced THs.
This is the best.
Yes. I didn't hear any D there, and I could see also your tongue tip seems to be coming here. So like I said, doesn't need to come through. That would make it take too long. And this
Sure.
is an unstressed word. We don't want that. But that sounds perfect. So you're changing it from disses to this is. Exactly. Perfect. Okay, Ricardo, what I want to do now is I want to just have you tell me a little bit about your day or anything. And then I'm going to grab some sentences that I want to work on. But also, sorry about my cough. In addition to that, is there anything that you are wanting to bring to work on?
I would say some reductions and some linking as
Yeah.
well. I feel that I need some help with that as well.
Are there particular reductions or just in general?
Well, I've been really working hard on my tube reduction. Like I had a very strong two. So
Yeah.
now, after going through Essential Module 1, I've been very conscious about my two reduction. So if you notice anything in that department, let me
Okay.
know.
Definitely.
And also do and of,
Yeah. Okay.
like the
Okay. Awesome. I will keep an eye on that. And then I'm also going to, there's a chance I might want to play with pitch a little bit. I'm not totally sure.
Okay.
So let me just hear you tell me about your day, and then I'll find the things that I want to work on. And I will definitely keep an eye out for reductions and linking, because that's so often what I'm hearing from people.
All right. Today was a very busy day at work.
Did you hear today? I heard a little bit today.
Today.
Today. Exactly. So many people want to say today, but that's another one, just like the to reduction where it's today.
Today.
Exactly.
So did I
Okay.
say it correctly? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So today was a very busy day at work. We had interviews. We were interviewing new teachers for the next school year.
Okay, I'm going to stop you
Sure.
because I found a couple things I want to work on.
Okay.
So someone in the live stream is asking about vowels, and in general, I think your vowels are very good, but I did find I want to work on this word, which has an I vowel and an E vowel. Do you see the text that I sent, the message?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
let's
I do.
hear it.
Busy day.
So the thing that I would want to change about it, your I vowel, bi, is fine, but it's the E. It's a little bit like busy, and I need it to be a little bit brighter and shorter. E. Like it needs to come a little bit more forward in the mouth. Can I hear you just try to pulse? E. Yes. So that's brighter than the sound you were giving me. I think your tongue is arching a little bit higher, and we want that. So let's just play it, say it, busy.
Busy.
Yes, that's a perfect E. Now we're going to play it, say it a little bit to try to solidify it a little bit in your body. Busy.
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 You know what? That sounds native, Ricardo. It's perfect. So I would drill that a little bit. And the ending E, we have a lot of words with that ending unaccented E. Busy, pretty, quickly. It's a very common way for a word to end in English. And actually, a lot of different language groups do something sort of funky with that ending E. So in the academy, in the vowels and diphthongs courses, in the chapter on E, we have a whole soundboard with that ending unstressed E sound, just like busy. And I want you to think about your tongue being just a little bit higher as you do play it, say it with those.
Okay.
Okay, so then you were talking about interviews.
Correct.
And I can't remember what I wanted to say about that. So just tell me again about your interviews.
So we were interviewing candidates for the next school year. So we are interviewing teachers, to start working in the fall.
Okay. I love a lot of things there. I love your dark island fall. I love your shape fall. One thing I noticed is what you said, we are interviewing. I'm going to type this out. It would be so much more natural to not say we are. It would be so much more natural to use the contraction.
Okay.
This is we are, you are, I am. These are, it's just So much more frequent for a native speaker to make that a contraction. And not only does it get contracted then, but it's reduced. Like you might know that your actually gets pronounced your, right? So not only are we combining it into one word, but we're reducing the vowel and making it so quiet. So we are becomes were.
Were.
Exactly. No louder than that. No, it's more energy. I loved the sound of that. So let's hear, we're interviewing.
We're interviewing.
Yes, exactly. I want to make sure we're getting not interviewing. I think your and your e could maybe use just a little bit of clarifying, because I noticed I pointed that out with busy. I pointed it out with decided. So let me hear you say interview.
Interview.
Yes. Okay, that was good. That was a very relaxed opening sound. Can we link in we're in?
We're interviewing.
Yes, exactly. That's perfect. And I loved the smoothness of that link. So often when we focus on a reduction, it also helps with the linking, because the reduction only makes sense if we're linking it in. So it went from we are interviewing, which was okay, to we're interviewing, which is just that much more natural and just flows that much more. Okay, so do you work for the school district or?
Yes, I work for the school district.
Okay, and so how many teachers did you interview today?
5.
Okay, that's a lot. Okay, keep going. I'm going to write down some more things I want to work on. First of all, though, I want to point out, did you guys all notice how Ricardo pronounced interviewing? And did anyone think that sounds great or that sounds strange? Because I noticed right away that he dropped the T. He didn't say interviewing, he said interviewing, and I love that. That's the most common way to pronounce that word. So it's awesome that you've noticed that and that you brought that into your speech. But I just want to point that out to all the people out there. Fatima, who's coming in from YouTube, who is noticing this here, and I just want to point out that it's an awesome little thing that you have integrated into your pronunciation, because it does help smooth it. It helps the flow. Okay, so tell me anything you want to about any of these interviews, or maybe you don't even want to talk about work. Maybe you're like, I want to talk about my evening.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about my son. So after work, I had to stop at his school friend.
Hold on. I had to stop. I had to stop. Exactly. Yes. Let's hear it again.
I had to stop at my son's friend's school, my son's friend, to pick him up and take him to get a haircut.
Okay, let me pause you there for a second. First of all, great job on correcting. Had to. There's a couple vowels I want to tweak. Your son's. So it's so close to being right. That's the vowel, like in butter, that's so common. I call it that core American sound. And it's very close to being perfect, but it's just a little bit high placement-wise. Son instead of son. Do you hear a difference between those two things? Obviously, my cold is not helping anybody identify anything with my voice, but I'm going to try to do it the two different ways again. See if you can hear a difference. Son, son, son. Yeah. Okay. So for the first one, which was me imitating you, son, it's not bad. The tongue position feels pretty right, but I'm really just letting the sound be here, son. And then for the second one, I'm letting the sound be all the way here, son. Exactly. Let me hear that.
Son.
Yes. So that is a perfect sound. It's subtle. You're just opening up a little bit more space down here. Do you even know, do you feel anything changing in here?
I do, and also here in my chest.
Mm-hmm. So when you say son, the way that's a little bit more your habit, and then you switch it, what change are you making? If you were going to try to teach somebody, what would you be able to tell them?
Son. I would say try to focus more like down here, rather than up here, and that will make a difference. I felt that in my throat, like in my chest, the sound coming more from down here.
Yeah. It's really good. I mean, I said I might want to work with you on your pitch. I wasn't sure. Really, I think this is what I want to work with you on. It's not the pitch that's the issue so much. It's that sometimes the placement is a little bit here. And for so many students, it's so dramatic that it's pressed here and they need to make a big change. For you, it's very subtle because it's not very pressed here. It's just slightly less attached down here than we want. But if you keep that sort of feeling and you think of the word sun, 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 and you try to play back and forth with that, and then think about, okay, that feeling is what I want all the time. The other thing I wanted to add, I'm going to just type this phrase. Let's hear you say that.
A haircut.
Okay, yeah. So the first time it was a little bit hair. It was just slightly hair. And this time it was hair. Do you hear the difference?
I do.
Okay.
Totally.
Here's a question. Now, Ricardo's been in the academy for months. He's been doing a lot of work with it. I'm curious, people coming in who are new to the academy or who are coming in on the live stream. I know a lot of people will say, Rachel, I cannot hear the difference there. And I'm just curious if you can hear the difference. I'm seeing some thumbs up. I'm going to do it again with the word hair. Okay? Hair, 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 hair. And now I'm going to do sun. Sun, 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 sun. Can people hear the difference? Someone's saying, Rafa saying placement is so difficult. Yes, and this is what it is. It's not the pitch or the tongue position. It's sort of the subtle muscles and movements here. But Ricardo, this is really, Bruce is saying he hears no difference. You know what, Bruce? Come back to a live class when I have my voice back. We'll see if we can work on it a little bit. Oh, Jose says I can hear it totally. So, and it's just also a matter of the more you expose yourself to the materials in the academy, the more likely you are to hear the difference.
And this is exactly what I was going to say that to you, Rachel. At first, I couldn't tell the difference at all.
Yeah.
But now, after being in the academy for a while, I can totally tell when I'm not placing my voice at the right place.
Yeah. Do you know, is there any particular kind of lesson that was in the academy that helped you learn to hear that difference, or was it just overall the amount of time?
Just listening to it.
Yeah.
Just listening, getting exposed. Even my kids, they told me, like, your voice sounds different. They could tell that, my voice is not as high as it used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is, but it's getting lower now because I'm going towards that goal of native sound.
And your kids, are they native speakers of American English? Yeah. So I love it when my students' kids are native speakers, because then they start giving them feedback like, wow, your voice sounds better. And I love it when my students get that kind of feedback. That's really cool. And, I love that it's just generally the exposure. People who are in the academy, you don't need to be stressed about doing it right, doing it wrong. Am I doing the right exercises? Am I doing enough? It's like, just get in there and do the work. And over time, you're going to hear the difference in things that you don't hear now. And I've had students who have been unable to hear the difference between some vowels. They have no idea, but then they just do the listening practice enough, and then they do hear the difference. And when they start to hear the difference, then they can produce it themselves, and then they end up sounding totally native on both sounds that originally they couldn't hear the difference in. So thank you for reminding me of that, Ricardo, and for owning he can hear this subtle difference, but he couldn't months ago when he started. So that is awesome. So Bruce, who's in the academy, saying no difference. Don't worry about it, Bruce. You just keep logging into the academy and doing the work, and you're going to get it. Okay. So, all right, you picked up your son. Did you say it was your son's friend who needed a haircut?
No, my son.
Your son. Okay, so
I went to his friend's house to pick him up.
I went to his, you said. I went to. Yes. You know what? Don't worry about it. It's just, I'll keep pointing it out, but it's just, you're 3/4 of the way there. It's just not a habit yet. We have 20 years to replace with that.
Break.
Yeah. Now, I know that you're recording yourself and posting it to the community quite a bit. Are you recording yourself and also listening to it yourself before you post?
Totally. Yes,
Yeah.
I do that. And then I also record myself reading, like books to my kids at
Yeah.
night so I can like listen to it later.
Yeah.
So I usually do a lot of recording
Okay.
and free talk.
That is awesome. That's in the new essentials course. I'm trying to get people to do that more, because that's when you really start to be able to hear your own difference. Like, oh wait, I do feel like my placement is kind of high there. And I think it's possible that if you do that, you'll start to notice the two reduction. And if you're noticing it in yourself in the recording, eventually you will start to notice it as you're saying it. And then eventually you'll start to think of it before you say it, and then it will come out with the reduction that you want. Okay, so
Great.
I interrupted you. You went somewhere, but I don't know where because I stopped you. You went to what?
I went to a hair salon where my son got a haircut.
Okay. How did it turn out? Pretty good?
Yeah, he liked it. Yeah, he looks great.
How old is your son?
He's 10. He's going to
Okay.
be 11 in September.
He's. Okay, let's take the word he's. It was a little bit like this. He's. I think the pitch can be lower since it's unstressed. It's the beginning. We're going to go up. He's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than he's, I think it could be he's. He's gonna.
He's gonna.
But you know what? To me, it sounds a little bit like his. This is just like what we were doing with busy. That ending E was a little bit eh. And now the he's a little bit his. So I want a little bit more brightness. I think the tongue needs to be closer to the roof of the mouth. He's. Exactly. Now, can you do that tongue position without doing this to your lips? He's. Again, he's. That's good. Let's play it, say it. And when you're doing it, you're doing a good job of keeping your lips relaxed, but I can tell that there's some work to make that happen. And that's also not total relaxation. So you're going in the right direction, but just think about that. We want to be able to make the E vowel without this doing anything, because it shouldn't need to do anything. E, okay. He's.
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 Okay, that's perfect. Let's just go back to busy. Busy.
Busy.
Busy.
Busy.
Busy.
Busy.
He's busy.
He's busy.
That was a little bit he's busy. He's busy. E. He's.
His.
No, did you hear that? To me, that was
Yeah, I
his.
did.
Okay. So that's sort of a little bit high and spread. His. He's.
His.
He. That sounds like his to me. He's.
He is busy.
Yes. So obviously at some point I would want to take that and I would want to work on he's busy becoming he's busy. But for now, what are you doing that is different than what you are kind of, what's your habit? Your habit of being more like his. What are you changing?
I think not trying to focus on my lips much as more as my tongue position
Yeah.
rather than my lips. Because
Yeah.
if I'm more concerned with my lips, then I'm not making the right sound.
Yeah. You know, some people are taught, I've seen materials that say, E and I are kind of similar to a lot of people, that's one where they can't hear the difference. And I've seen teachers go, E, and then of course we're teaching this really big extra gesture where that's actually not where the difference comes. The difference comes in how close is the tongue to the roof of the mouth. So yes, it's a lot of people have built that kind of a gesture in. They smile into your E. Okay, but we don't actually need to do that to make our tongue go up. E. Let me hear you say E.
E.
Yes, that's the sound. And your lips are totally relaxed is all about the tongue. So let's go back to the phrase, he's busy.
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 That's a little bit hey. You're making it longer, I think, than you need to. It's almost like you're saying he is, and they're gliding together. He is busy. He. And actually, let's bring it down. He. Let's bring it down. He's biz.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's busy.
He's.
His.
He's.
His.
He's.
His.
He's.
His.
He's.
His.
I like it okay. Some of them I love. It's less consistent than some of the other things. So I think that I'm trying to think about, it's been a while since I've looked at the soundboards that we have for E. I have a feeling in your stressed words, it's not a problem at all. I have a feeling it's always in an unstressed syllable, but let me just test that by typing a couple words for you.
Seat.
Try to do it without this, because you don't need it. Your vowel was good.
Peach.
Again?
Peach.
Yeah. So your E, I think, is not a problem when it's stressed. I also have never noticed it in a stressed word or syllable. But sometimes in these unstressed words or syllables, I would imagine that the same, just like he's busy, I would imagine that she's busy would be another word that you would want to work on that has that E. She's here. She's there. She's nowhere. Let me hear you say.
Okay. She's here.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What if you tried to shorten the she's to she's?
She's here.
Yeah, that's better. That is better. I still think we could have a just slightly higher tongue. But overall, it sounds quite good. And sometimes it sounds perfect. Sometimes your he's was perfect. Sometimes your busy was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you have any questions? I mean, I'm so happy to work with you and to hear that you've just, well, I guess one question I have is how much time have you spent in the academy? Like, do you practice almost every day?
I would say for about at least 40 minutes every day.
And what is it that you're doing? Are you going to soundboards? What kinds of lessons are you using?
I love going into different lessons. I the ones that I love the most is the scripted conversations, because that gives me a lot of, ideas and ways to sound differently that I can use in my day-to-day.
Yeah.
So I really like that. And I really like the essentials. I just finished module 1 and I'm starting module 2 right now. So I'm going between the scripted conversations and then a lesson.
And you're recording yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's part of what I'm doing with essentials is I'm trying to, when I work with a student like you, who seems very dedicated and who seems to be having a lot of success, and I try to find out what you're doing. And for a lot of students, it's like, okay, then I try to teach the rest of the students to be that way. That's why I've put more recording exercises into essentials, is because I'm realizing the students that are the most successful are the ones that are, among other things, are really recording themselves. It's transforming how you can hear your own speech. But this was exciting. You sound so good. And I love that we found, there's just a few places where sometimes the placement is here and you can bring it down here, but you know how to do that. So I think it's just a matter of recording yourself and finding it. We've just done the tiniest bit of tweaking with the E vowel. You know about the to reduction. It's just a matter of making that habit. And the recording yourself doing a free talk is going to be a great way to do that, because you'll start to catch those places where you're not doing the to reduction, and any reduction really. But yeah, keep it up and keep posting in the community to get that teacher feedback. But you sound great, Ricardo.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate your time, Rachel.
You are welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to go live.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
See you later.
All right. See you. Okay, Ricardo, I'm going to go ahead and turn off your video, and I will make you, I put you back in the classroom part. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead. Oops. Ali, sorry. That's okay. I am going to go ahead and start answering some questions. So I saw A lot of comments coming in. Barbara on YouTube is saying, I love your classes. However, I love my thick accent. It's my heritage and I'm proud of it. Barbara, yes. I love your thick accent too. I've never heard it, but I always say my goal is not to make people accentless. My goal is to help people get where they want to go. Some people love their accent, but they want to be able to communicate a little bit more confidently, a little bit more quickly. Yes, I've got you. Some people like Ricardo, they actually want to try to sound native. Yes, I'm going to help you try to be there. But I in no way want to live in a world with no accents. So I think that is great that you love and embrace your own voice where you're at. Jose Ortega, Miguel, sorry that they're going so fast. Okay, Jose Ortega could hear a little bit of the difference, the he's and the his. So that's awesome, Jose. You must have been watching a lot of Rachel's English videos to pick up on that subtle difference. Okay, let me go see if there are any questions that came in from my Academy students. Oh, whoops, this computer fell asleep. I need to give it a second to wake up. In the meantime, I do want to call attention to this coupon code because it only works during the live stream, and the live stream is going to end in a few minutes because I don't know if you noticed, but I'm losing my voice. So if you're thinking about trying out the Academy, go now and use this coupon code. Also, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're like, Rachel, I see this live stream, I see you working with Ricardo, but I still don't really get what the Academy is like, then just sign up and get in there because you can cancel, you can get a refund if it doesn't work for you. Okay. So a couple people asked about the word birthday, which is actually amazing because I just worked on birthday at, was it the 4:00 or the noon live stream that I did? I can't remember, but when I was working with that student, we found that with the word birthday, the way to make it easier to pronounce is to minimize the D sound. Don't think of it as being D, but just take a lot of that effort out so that it becomes day, 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 not day. There's not the pressure in the buildup. It becomes a lot easier to link the TH in birth to that. Birthday. Birthday. So that would be my clue to you, my tip to you. Take some of the energy out of the D. I think that will help. Wicho from the community is asking, how can I tell the difference in pronunciation between N and NG? Yes, I get this question sometimes. So let's take, for example, the words sin and sing. So sin ends in an N. And you can see for the N that the tongue is wide and flat. Sin. And it just lifts up so that the front flat part is on the roof of the mouth. In. Now for sing, the front part of the tongue stays down. And I'm going to drop my jaw so you can see inside my mouth more, but we don't actually drop our jaw that much. Sing. You can see my tongue tip is here. It's touching back there. It's the back part of my tongue that's reaching up, and it's actually touching the soft palate. Sing. It's actually touching back there. So that's the difference. N is here. NG is back here. Tongue tip is forward. So you might want to just go back and forth with those for a bit. And I think we do have N and NG minimal pairs in the Academy, but it's just a matter of doing it slowly, applying your thought to what's happening with your body, and then letting your body start to learn it, take it over, do it on its own. It's sort of like if you're learning a piano piece, you don't want to go so fast that you do it wrong. You've got to go really slowly so that, my hand gets this movement. My head is telling my hand what to do. My hand is responding. I get it. You can't go faster than that until the connection has started to be made. So N and NG, don't rush it. If they feel awkward to you, just stick with the sounds. Just do them slowly. Do one syllable words that end in N. Then do a bunch of one syllable words that end in NG. Just go slowly enough that you can feel it. And you can see this too. You know, some sounds you can't really see because of the lip position. But luckily with these sounds, you can see what your tongue is doing. So you can have a mirror. You can use your phone. Sin, bean, bone. And you can watch the tongue. Now, one thing I do want to say about N is be careful with the back of the tongue. It's possible to make an N, but to have tension in the back of the tongue. Then it does kind of sound like an NG, even if the front is up. So we want the back of the tongue to be relaxed. I was working with a student from China once, and one of the things that helped her was to think of the N as being similar to D as far as the tongue position. We would go back and forth between D and N. D, 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 N, 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 N. And that helped her find the wide, flat tongue. She was wanting to make her N with a tongue that was sort of bunched up. And then it does sound like an NG because the back has tension in it. So to make sure you're getting a good pure N, keep it wide and flat, and maybe think of it as being similar to a D. Okay, guys, go get in there. Go get in the academy. We have so much fun in the academy. I do teach live like this once a month with academy students, but also in the community. We have drop-in hours with teachers every week. We have, you're welcome, Wicho. We have conversation meetups. So there's a lot of ways to interact with other teachers and students if you join the community as well. So the way the sale is working is we're selling essentials as a standalone course, which is awesome. It's a great starting point. But if you know that you're in this for the long haul, like Ricardo, who's been working since September, you know you want to work more than just 5-ish weeks. You want to build the habit long term. You want to do more than understand the concepts and change a couple things. You want to change more things. Then you're probably going to want to sign up for the full academy access. Both of these things have 30-day money-back guarantee for anyone who's never had them before, for all new students. I'm so sorry about my voice, guys. Let's hope I sleep on it tonight and my voice is good to go by tomorrow, because I'll be live again at 11 a.m. Eastern. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Take care and be safe and well wherever you are.